kuhusu biashara ya watumwa ya transatlantic, karibu kila Afrika anajua kuhusu hilo. Kwa masikitiko, mabilioni hupuuza jukumu baya la Uislamu wa Kiarabu barani Afrika. Kwa nini? We will consider 10 ignored roles of Islam in Africa and why we should know and understand these roles. Stolen lands and the fake Middle East, stolen identity, role in distorting geography and the correct map of Africa, civilization annexation, the role in stolen history, the West's most inhuman, most devilish institution ever to encroach upon melanin-dominant human beings, anthropological deception of melanin-dominant humans, still enslaving melanin-dominant humans, the oil and other mineral riches being enjoyed by others instead of the owners who are melanin-dominant humans, religious and spiritual theft. We must never forget or forgive or seek reparations, but the return of everything that is ours, including our lands. Concerning the transatlantic slave trade and demands for reparations, almost every melanin-dominant human being knows about it. Yet billions ignore or are in ignorance of the evil role of Arab Islam in Africa. Our title is The Ignored Roles of Islam in Africa. The Arabs have been successful in a very astounding and astonishing way to deceive, to bribe, to misinform, distort, and to hide their genocidal role in Africa and among us melanin-dominant human beings all over the earth. These are the areas where Islam dominates. It's all Africa. All of this is all Africa. All of this that my case is called Africa. By Islam, we infer to any group of people on national level or international level who follow Quranic teachings and they think that Muhammad was a messenger or prophet. We include in this group the nation of Islam and all the leadership that buy and thinks like that. Most tragically, billions of the descendants of slaves, the blacks of the Americas, Africa, and other bantu lands in the world know nothing of the truth on the evil and continuous genocidal role of Islam in Africa. We must understand that slavery is still going on in many parts of North Africa, and our lands are still colonized and occupied in Northeast Africa. That's a fact we should never forget. So, stolen lands, the fake Middle East. For thousands of years before European geography, Arabia was part of Africa. There was no Middle East. You can watch our video. It's all stolen land. Video that provides evidence and proof that it's all Africa. There was no Middle East at all. It was created by the French, the Americans, as well as the British for their descendants that live in these areas today. Middle East petroleum belongs to melanin-dominant humans of Africa because it's all part of Africa, our natural wealth. We should never forget about that. Very few people think like that because our programming is that we should forget and think of the geography that limits what is ours and limits and controls what are the possibilities that we could have. Indigenous people were removed through a process of stolen identity. He is the original Bedouin in Al-Balisan in Jordan, 1918. He looks like that is a melanin-dominant human, and these are the invaders and their sons and the mulattoes. Between these two, only one can be truly an Arab. He is the indigenous and original Arab. There is no two ways about it. So another role that Islam has done on Africa has stolen our identity and has imposed it on others and continue to occupy our lands and our heritage. It has also played a role in distorting the true geography and the map of Africa. They hide under the open guise of Arab League. Arab League. And at the same time, they belong to the African Union. And when they show you this, they are giving you something that is fake that is not correct. Let's continue to prove and show that. Here is the wrong map of Africa. This is not Africa. This is a third of Africa, a very small, minute part of Africa. Africa involves all of this right into Europe, right into far East Asia, India, the islands, all that. This is Africa. This is ours, directly ours, before we cross any oceans. You could walk from here, Lesotho or Eswatini, South Africa or Botswana. You can walk, cross the river here, walk up here, right here, go this way, cross the Nile, go across here, go right here into Iran, walking without crossing any ocean, just crossing rivers. Go here to Kazakhstan, into Europe this way. By the way, you can go to Europe across here. This is all Africa. Europe is Africa, right into India. You can walk. It's only when you cross the ocean that we consider that you are going into another continent, as we have already shown in many of our videos. Arab Islam's role in stealing our heritage. They've stolen our identity. Now it's our heritage. The role of Islam in whitening Northeast Africa is not publicized and published. It's not known. They are going on even stealing our rich heritage as theirs. Invention of numbers, astronomy, alphabet, all were invented by melanin dominant people in Africa, not in Europe. Sculpture, the arts, music, you can name it. So they are stealing our heritage, while we are jumping and they're not seeing and they're not raising even our ire against that. Annexation of civilization, the awesome architecture, the prayer posture, stealing religious knowledge and practice. The white Arabs have been desperate to demonstrate that they were the original creators of North African civilizations, or at least that they were there or participated in the founding of these African civilization, original civilizations. This is of course a lie. They were nowhere anywhere near there. The Islamic practice of Salat, 5 daily prayers, was stolen from the concept of 5 daily meditations practiced this way in Africa thousands of years before Islam was a figment in any Arab's imagination. Here's the proof. The Asiatic Muslim committing cultural theft and denigration of African prayer systems, which he copied from ancient Hamid in Guinea, Mali, along the Nile, right up to Zimbabwe, Kasambabeza, right across the whole of Africa. The remains of our ancestors are there, but not even one Arab remain has been discovered in any part of Northeast Africa. They steal our history. They rebrand it as theirs. Their role is in stealing our history. Islam was first spread by Turkish Arabs, who are Europeans dominated by the Greco-Roman heritage. That's a fact. Via Turkey. That's how they came into North Africa and dominated, destroyed all the civilization there and whitened up or Arabized it. Names were changed. Genocide was committed of the indigenous melanin dominant human. We have shown you the image of an Arab 1918. Straightforward. Those melanin dominant human beings who did not convert and followed these colonizing texts were expunged and killed, and now they are ignored in history, and melanin dominant consciousness cannot connect with them. Hence this video. Egypt and its civilization fell under the evil rule of Abbasid Caliph Harun al-Rashid. That Caliph began assigning Egypt to Arabized texts. And Mamelukes, the first Turkish dynasty, then started to establish itself and Arabized the whole place. The cancerous plague of Africa. While much has been written about the Atlantic Treaty, surprisingly little attention has been paid to the Islamic treaties of the Sahara, the Red Sea, and the Indian Ocean. While the involvement of Europeans in trafficking to the Americas lasted a little over 300 years, the involvement of Arabs in the slave trade of melanin dominant humans lasted for 1,400 years, and in some parts is still going on today. It should also be noted that black slaves were castrated, their testicles removed. When the Fatimid Caliphate came to power in Egypt, it exterminated all black slave soldiers, tens of thousands, and raised a new army of slaves. While almost all slaves in America were employed in agriculture, the majority of slaves in the Arab Middle East were destined for sexual exploitation in harems or to serve in the army. While the slaves of America made many children, with millions of descendants now as citizens of Brazil and many other countries in South and Central America, as well as in the United States, he who survived in Middle East had no descendants at all. Most slaves in America were able to marry and have children. Most male slaves in the Middle East were castrated, as we have already said, and most of the children born to slave women were killed at birth. Think about that. The worst and the most inhuman, most devilish institution to ever crawl over Africa or over melanin-dominant human beings on any part of the earth. The role of Muslims and the Quran in slave trade is not popular. Enslaving melanin-dominant humans was initiated, defined, perpetrated, and implemented by Arab Muslims, helped later by black converts to Islam. Marinate on that. The Arabs raided sub-Saharan Africa for 13 centuries without interruption. Yet you hear Hebrew Israelites thumping about the Americas only and Europe only. Even in their Deuteronomic 28 cases, they only emphasize the American slave trade. It is high time that the genocide of Arab Muslim slave trade be examined, debunked, and popularized, so that we do not forget whatever has happened in our history. This history is unknown, hidden, and voluntarily obscured for a purpose. Let us not forget all that. Anthropological deception of melanin-dominant humans, we are being still enslaved. One of their thinkers, Ibn Khaldun, describing melanin-dominant humans of sub-Saharan Africa, said, beyond to the south, there is no civilization in the proper sense. They are only humans who are closer to dumb animals than to rational beings. They live in thickets and caves and eat herbs and unprepared grain. They frequently eat each other. They cannot be considered human beings. These are the thinkers in Islam that formulated and that taught you the hadiths, that teaches you the culture. Therefore, that's why they call you abid, slave. That's why we are being sold, surely. This CNN team that investigated migrant slave trade in Libya, it's happening today as we speak. It's a shame that you find other melanin-dominant human beings defending this under the guise of Black Islam or Islam for Africa or something like that. The Arab world has risen up to help black people in freedom. No, this is a lie. There were only few exceptions. Maybe only one. Here's Muammar Gaddafi. He's the only one who apologized for enslavement of melanin-dominant human beings. And they worked very hard to restore Africa to its position where it can use its resources for its people. Only one man that we can point out to in the Arab world, whom we can say was a friend of Africa. Let us accept that and let us think about that very, very seriously. The Arabs have succeeded in astounding and astonishing ways to deceive, bribe, misinform, distort, and in hiding their genocidal role from billions of melanin-dominant people on earth. Let us put an end to this misperception for good. Send us an email, participate and share this video, and let us continue to work very hard to expose these atrocities. Tatenda, siyabonga asante sana, edupe, subscribe to our channel, Hamiti Ibulu Ethics, this preacher Rabbi Ellen Tubizulu, saying we should never forget, we should never forgive, we should always publicize those that destroyed our ancient civilization. Have a great life.